Hello everyone, David here. This is the Sony ZV-1. It's Sony's new compact camera. It's great for vloggers because it finally has a proper flippy and articulated screen. It has a microphone input and it has a 1-inch sensor, so you get really great results. It does, however, have a few flaws, and I want to talk about those and show you how to fix them. Let's go. So the first thing we're talking about is the field of view. Now the lens that is built into the camera is a 24-70, and that sounds like it should be wide enough, but unfortunately the 24mm field of view actually is cropped when you shoot in 4K, and you get a further crop applied when you turn on the active stabilization. And I want to shoot in 4K and I want it stabilized because I do a lot of kind of walking and talking with the camera. That means you end up with something probably closer to like a 30mm full frame equivalent, maybe even tighter than that. But the way you can fix that is you get a filter mount adapter and you stick that on top of the lens, and I'll provide a link to the one I used, which is the JJC, and then that gives you a filter thread screw, and you can buy a wide-angle lens adapter that just screws into that, and for that I recommend the ZV-1, and I'll leave a link to that model as well. It was a bit difficult to get a hold of that in the UK, but it can be done. You can get one shipped from China. So once you've got them both in place, you get a shot like this, which is a bit more usable in sort of terms of, you know, YouTube content. And I'm just holding the camera sort of fairly comfortable arm's length away from me. I'm not kind of trying to stretch too hard. If you want to see what it looks like without the wide-angle lens adapter, it looks like this. And as you can see, my face is just kind of dominating the shot a little bit more than I want. I want you to really be able to see what's in the background too. So I'm going to screw this ZV-1 wide-angle lens adapter back on, and you can see what it looks like. So this is with the wide-angle lens adapter back on. Just gives me a bit more breathing room around here. I don't feel like I have to sort of stretch away with the camera too much, and I think it improves it a lot. I feel like there is a slight hit to the image quality. There's a little bit of sort of softening, I think, going around, especially at the sides, but I think it's a fair trade-off, and it just makes the camera like really usable for vlogging content. Here is an example of the kind of photo quality you can expect to get from the camera, and here is an example of the kind of 120 frames per second slow motion, which I think is a really neat little feature. The only annoying thing is I've had to save it to a memory recall preset in order to get access to it. There's no dedicated mode on the mode dial to get to 120 frames per second slow-mo. There is a downside to the 120 frames per second mode though, which is that you don't seem to get any eye tracking or face tracking even, which makes it hard to nail focus sometimes. And that does make me wonder if maybe that's why Sony has hidden it away inside a menu option. Maybe this can be fixed in the future with firmware. I really hope so. One of the recommended accessories is this, the Sony VPT2BT wireless shooting grip. It's a combination remote control with buttons for taking photos or starting video recording, zoom, custom button and exposure lock. That's pretty cool. It's also quite a comfortable grip, and if you want to plonk it down on a table, you can fold out the tripod legs and then have it record you. And it has some cool buttons on it to adjust the pitch of the camera, and also you can adjust the rotation by pressing that one down as well. So what about this tripod? Why isn't this any good? Well, it is fine. I will say it's fine, but it's a little bit on the bulky side still. It's sort of a bit more chunky than I feel like it needs to be. So I went out and I got this Ulanzi tripod, and it doesn't have any remote control buttons on it at all, but it does have one cool feature that the Sony one doesn't, and that is that it extends like that. And then if you didn't want to get the wide angle lens adapter, it means you have a little bit more room, so you can take the camera further back, and that might actually help you get an effectively wider shot, or at least your head will be smaller in the frame. So that's one way of doing it. But actually, the reason I like it is because it means when it's sitting on any kind of table, I actually get a better shot of myself, because I don't end up shooting myself pointing with the camera pointing up at me. I actually get something that's a bit more at eye level, and that works better for my kind of videos. the next thing to talk about is the battery life, and the ZV-1 takes the NP-BX1 style batteries, which was the same for the RX100 range, and they're fine. You know, you will get about an hour's worth of recording time using one of those batteries, as long as it's not crazy hot and it's causing your camera to overheat. Yeah, sort of about an hour sort of on and off of recording has been fine with the ZV-1. However, that's usually not enough for me. If I'm doing some kind of activity in a day and I'm turning it into a vlog, I need probably 2 or 3 hours of recording time over the day. So I found the easiest thing is just to buy a few spare batteries. It does mean you need to like unscrew the tripod, undo the battery catch and put in a new battery, but I think that's a fair trade-off, and then you get another hour per battery, more or less, of recording time. I'll leave a link in the description to some spare batteries that I bought. I bought a pack of 2 third-party batteries that came with a charger. That was quite convenient, because then it means I can carry them around in the charger. However, the official batteries are way better than all the third-party batteries I've tried. Even if they're rated higher, sometimes the capacity works out as lower. They're probably just lying on their marketing, allegedly. However, there is a Duracell battery that's compatible. That might be worth a try if you want to save a bit of money over the official ones. Another thing worth talking about is audio. So the internal microphone in the ZV-1 is actually pretty good, but it's not very directional. And if you're vlogging somewhere quite noisy, like this place, Lambeth Bridge, you end up wanting to record yourself, and really you want to get rid of the noise that's going on behind you. And right now there's loads of cars going past me over the bridge. So if you can afford the Rode Video Micro, it's another £50, it's worth the purchase, and that just plugs in. It's pretty small, doesn't require power, but it does boost your audio quality and give you that nice directional sound as well. There are some other alternatives. There are some other quite cheap microphones that don't require power and are small enough to fit on the ZV-1 without looking too intimidating. And there are also the Sony ones that will plug in and use the multi-interface shoe. However, judging from YouTube myself, I don't like the sound of those quite as much, so the Rode Video Micro gets the recommendation from me. Let's see how it compares to the internal microphone, and you can just see the difference in the quality and also the noise reduction in terms of directionality. So this is an example of audio coming from the internal microphone. There's quite a few cars and things going past behind me, so let's plug in the Rode Video Micro again, and you can see how it sounds compared to that. And this is the Rode Video Micro. What do you think? Does it make a difference? If you're not that bothered, then I guess that's fine. You don't have to buy one. But I think the size of it is perfect for the ZV-1, and I think the improvement in audio quality is definitely worth it. So this is what your vlogging setup would now look like. You have a wide-angle shot, you have really great quality audio coming from the Rode Video Micro, and I can see what I'm framing up. So this is already such a great setup. There's one final thing I did, which is that once you've tucked the lens away and put the flippy screen back, you still have this microphone sort of slightly sticking out of the front. So what I did to make this a bit more portable is I got a third-party mount, which is quite a bit smaller than the official mount, so it's a bit narrower. It's about the same height. But it just means there's kind of less stuff here to get in the way. It's more rigid, so you won't get sound protection from vibrations and things, but it hasn't really been a big problem for me. And the cool thing about this third-party mount is that, well, it sort of happened by accident, actually. I was trying to just move it a little bit, and then it broke, and then I found that I can actually move it entirely 90 degrees. So what my plan is now is I store the camera like this. So because this is now quite slimline, it means it can go into a pocket of a pretty small record bag like this. Just pop it in there and I'm good to go. Okay, so let's tot up how much this bundle costs altogether now. The Sony ZV-1 itself was £699. The Ulanzi mini tripod was £15.95. The JJC filter adapter was the only thing I couldn't buy on Amazon. It was $14.99 on AliExpress. And that works out at £11.49 at the moment. The wide-angle lens adapter was £23.07. It came from China, couldn't find it anywhere else. The Rode Video Micro microphone was £54. The windscreen, or windbreaker / dead cat, whatever you want to call it, was £8.04, and I got a pack of 2. The microphone mount was £5.95, and again I got a pack of 2. And the wrist strap finally was £7.98. So altogether, this kit cost me £825.48, and that is certainly a lot of money for a camera and a vlogging setup, but it's also a really good one. So there you go, that's my video about my fully tricked out Sony ZV-1. I hope you found that useful. I think it's a great little camera. I'm really glad I've got a vlogging setup now that will have good battery life, really great field of view, really high quality 4K video, and it's just so compact as well. Like, I can take this on the move and take it in my little record bag and keep kind of the spare batteries and things in here. So, Sony, if you're listening, ZV-2 could probably do with a wider angle lens just as the default lens. People are saying like a 16-35 makes sense, and I totally agree with that. I think also, like, I would love it to use the bigger Sony batteries. So the one that I've got in my Sony A7iii, that just kind of lasts all day. So I want a battery like that in my ZV-2, please. That would be great. So my ZV-1 has become like a convenience camera, really. I keep it on my desk, and then when I want to record something, extend the tripod, hit record, and you know, I can already frame up the shot, and I'm recording in high quality 4K and with good audio. I'm not planning on throwing away my old vlogging setup by any means. I think I will keep this if I need a sort of more like rough and ready kind of vlogging setup. It's still really great quality, and it's slightly less expensive than the cost of the ZV-1 and all of its accessories. So if I'm going somewhere where I'm slightly worried things might get damaged, I think I'd rather take this than my expensive new camera. There you go, that's my video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, then hit the like button down there, and you can help me out by subscribing to my channel as well. Okay, see you next time.